After review, it has been determined that the receiver did not maintain.
I gotta have more cowbell.
And now we get one of my favorite people on the podcast. Obviously, love this guy. Been friends now for like 3 years, I think, somehow.
You know what they say, that if you're friends with someone for 7 years or longer, that's a friend for life. So you're
not even halfway there is what you really felt like.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for that, Ash. With slightly, yeah, exactly. Bloody hell! All right. I mean, Robbie, I'm down if you are, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Roberto Aguayo, my favorite people ever, absolute legend. We met, like I just said, 3 years ago, doing another podcast. And we've kept in touch ever since, I think, right? And Ash was amazed last time because you just FaceTimed me out of nowhere, and she was just sitting there going, "I'm sorry, but did Roberto Aguayo just FaceTime you?" And I was like, "Yes, he did, and he didn't have a shirt on. Thank you very much."
I know, but now you've got a shirt on, and
Ash is disappointed.
I was expecting more. I don't know. No. Lovely to virtually meet you, I guess, Robbie. And thank you so much for being a guest on End the NFL. This is super exciting.
It is exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I can't promise this will be anywhere near as professional as the NBL show, but if anyone wants to watch those old things so we're not rehashing over old ground with Robbie, because like I said, I've been friends 3 years now at this point, you can just go and watch our previous episodes with him on the NBL show. But a potted history, I guess, would be Roberto Aguayo is still the greatest kicker in the history of the NCAA, one of the highest drafted kickers coming out of FSU. Tricky situation in Tampa Bay, ended up, most people know how that ended. And the last time we spoke to you, you had just tried out for the Patriots and the Packers. I think Packers, then Patriots. You signed with the Patriots, I think, at the beginning of last season. And then we've had a whole year of wanting to catch up with you ever since then. So let's talk. Tryouts.
Okay.
Let's talk, first of all, because Ash wants to know, Green Bay.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't believe, like, it's amazing. I'm like, yeah.
Florida boy, up to Wisconsin. Where was colder, New England or Wisconsin?
So New England was colder, I would say, but both of the places were cold. Once it drops below 35, it's all the same to me. It's cold. But no, I think Green Bay was a cool experience. I'd never been there. I'd never played there. Obviously, one of the greatest organizations, NFL organizations of all time. But you can tell when you get there, the facility is world class. It's just, Lambeau Field. So they put me in a hotel right next to Lambeau Field. And on the top floor, there was a restaurant, and you could go out and you could kind of see it's right next to the stadium, and you could kind of see, a little bit of the fans and the score, the Jumbotron, and, the flag. And it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. It was snowing, but they had me kicking the indoor. It was crazy because when I went to work out, which was 2020, it was still during COVID. So you had to take 5 negative COVID tests before you worked out. So I was out there for a week before I even worked out.
That's intense. So 5 negative tests.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you come down the hotel, a black Suburban comes, you hop in, they pick you up, they take you to the facility, and they have like a little
across the road.
Across the road. There's like a portable, there's like a, little makeshift shack type deal. And 2 nurses come out, and then you just roll the window down, they swab you, roll the window back up, and then they take you back to your hotel, and then you just wait for the negative test. You hope you're negative, and then you kind of wait it out till day 5, and then you work out day 5. But yeah, it was my first time. I don't know if I mentioned it in the NBL podcast, but it was my first time kicking because I hadn't kicked all that year, the whole year. I was out of the game. It was, I forget how many days, but it was over 2 years.
It was, I tell you exactly what happened is that you almost had, moved on from football at that point. Like you said, it was 2 years. And I think you had just passed your banker's exam.
Yeah.
And on the same day, your agent called you and said, this is weird, but you've got a tryout. And I think he said to you, if you don't take the tryout, you won't get any others. Right. So you had how long? You had like an hour to make the decision, right?
Yeah.
New life starting, old life beckoning. Make the decision now.
Yeah, it's kind of like that old girlfriend that you broke up with and you're kind of moved on, and then all of a sudden like dude, hey. And you're like, what's going on, man? Like, why, But no, it was crazy how everything happened, right? I passed my last registration exam. And it's like coincidentally, I mean, I had talked to my agent probably like a month and a half, 2 months before that, just catching up. And he calls me and he's like, are you on the golf course, putting for birdie? And I was like, kind of, I wish, but no, I passed my
Eagle actually, mate. I've been out of the game for 2 years. Come on, I'm doing better than birdie at this point.
And I was like, I passed my last registration exam. So I'm a stockbroker. And he was like, oh, that's awesome. He's like, well, I got other news. He's like, the Green Bay Packers want to work you out. And I'm like, I thought he was joking. I was like, haha, that's funny, man. Like, that's a good joke. And he's like, no, I'm serious. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, it's been over 2 years. Like, and he's like, I know we're kind of, it's out of nowhere. And he's like, you're the guy you're the only guy that we represent currently that's been out this long and has gotten a call. And he was like,
something, doesn't it?
I know, but it's crazy, the timing, the situation when it was. I hadn't kicked. I had been probably, just running, a mile or two here and there. I wasn't, I hadn't kicked since April. And this was November. And, I told him, I was like, hey, I haven't kicked. And he's like, well, it's like Tiger Woods just picking up a golf club. Like, you got it. You've done it since you were 8. So I was like, yeah, you're right. So he was like, but it's up to you, whatever you want to do. I know that you have, your career and you're starting this, but he was like, if you don't take this opportunity, it'll probably be the last call you get from a team. And that was where I was like, dang. And he's like, I was like, when do I have to let you know, maybe, by tomorrow? And he's like, in 2 hours, because they want to fly you out because of the 5-day window, right? They need
okay.
So I'm like, oh, geez. I'm like, all right, well, I'll think about it and I'll call you back. And I thought about it and I was like, okay, what worst comes to worst, I go out there, stay out there for 5 days. I come back, I'm still, and if I do, if I do great and they want to sign me, I guess I can make the decision there and say no or yes. So, I called him, said yes, hopped on a plane, went to Green Bay. And well, actually, I had that afternoon, I was like, I got to go kick. I haven't kicked since April. I have to go out, at least kick a ball before I'm kicking in front of their organization, in front of their owner. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know how I'm going to be sitting there like, this might go in or this might, go 3 yards off the ground.
We'll cross our fingers and hope for the best.
Yeah. Right. So my cleats were up in the attic. The balls were all flat up in the attic. So I got them out, dusted them off, went to the field. And when you haven't kicked the ball for April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, it's 7 months. That first time you're going to kick is like, can I still do this? It's kind of weird, but when I hit that first ball, it was kind of like I kicked yesterday. It was just, and that kind of gave me the confidence. And I was like, okay, this is cool. I think this is the longest time that I've been out without kicking a ball. I hadn't kicked for 7 months. And it's funny because at the time, like, the Green Bay didn't know that, we were rolling in like I had been training, but at the same time, it's, I've done it. I've stayed in shape. It's not like I was fat or, overweight or hadn't, done anything, right? I was still in shape. I was still, doing things. So I go up there. I went 5 for 7, missed my last 2 from 50 plus, which was, I was kind of like, they weren't bad misses. I just missed one left, one right. And then I did good on my kickoffs, and I was like, well, we'll see. And they're like, we're looking to, maybe make a move with Mason Crosby at the end of the year. So we'll let you know. We wanted to come, we wanted
liars.
to come.
Absolute liars. Still on the team.
See what's going on, kick the tires, see where you're at, whatever. And I was like, no, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for bringing me up here. World-class organization. Wish you guys the best. Came back, and then a month later is when the Patriots called, and it was kind of like, okay, yeah, let's go do the same thing. Worst comes to worst, I don't make it, whatever. And I go 17 for 20 in Gillette Stadium, and then the GOAT, Bill Belichick, wants to sit down and chat with me, and then he ends up saying, we want you to stay, and we want you to back up Nick Folk. And I'm kind of sitting there like, wait. And he's like, you want to stay, right? And I'm like, I mean, you can't say no to Bill Belichick.
I was just about to say, you cannot say no to Bill Belichick.
In my head, I'm like, I can't say no to Bill Belichick. I'm like, yes, I'm staying. I'm staying. Like, just say yes, and then figure out the rest later. Figure out what you got. No, it was a good conversation. I was like, yes, of course. Like, this is cool. But then I'm like, okay, like I'm back, like I'm practicing, he's like, you're going to be kicking in team in practice. You're going to be getting all the reps in practice, because we don't want him, his knee, his body is kind of, he's going through some little, what's it called? Like tendonitis type deal. So we want him ready for the games and finishing out the season. I was like, all right, cool. So it was like, I hadn't kicked in a team situation, in 2 years, since I was with the Chargers in 2018. So it was kind of going out there, but honestly, like it felt great being around the guys, being on a team, being in the locker room, just being back in that environment. It was fun. It was cool. So it was a great experience, but since that, I kicked in OTAs, trained, went up there for OTAs.
They brought in that rookie, didn't they?
They brought in the rookie. Yeah, they brought in the rookie. And to be honest, I just wasn't, as doing everything that I needed to do to really, put the gas pedal down and win the job. Right. I kind of was like, okay, well, I didn't kick for 2 years, and I went in there and went 17 for 20. Like, I can, and then it was kind of just saying like, this guy's a rookie, I did great, I'm gonna, I have time to build, and then training camp, I'll be peaking. So I kind of left the door a little bit open for him. We were probably neck and neck. He wasn't beating me, but I wasn't completely beating him. And I was like, well, in training camp, I'll solidify the deal and win the job there. But at the end of the day, he cost less, I cost more, and he was younger. We can develop him. So Bill called me and mentioned that to me, and he was like, you're a great kicker. You were world class. You did everything we needed you to do here, but we're gonna go with the younger guy. And I was cool, right? I've been through all that, and I was like, I understand. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're like,
and I was like, hey, dude, you're world class. Like, you're world class. Everyone in the organization is world class. It was just great to be a part of that for, 7-8 months. And
that's amazing.
I met a lot of great friends. I met a lot of great friends on the team. I still talk to today. Good guys, good people. I still root for them. So it was a great experience for sure.
You're like, Bill, do you need a stockbroker? Completely. Do you have a money manager, Bill? Or a separate thing, but I can help in that regard as well.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I didn't tell you. I was like, hey, yes.
Can your rookie tell you about your investment portfolio?
Yeah.
Bill,
right.
Can he? I don't think he can.
You can keep it in house. I'll just, keep manage all the money for the guys, So, but it was.
You become Andy Dufresne in Shawshank in the
yeah,
Patriots
right?
locker room. It's like,
Yeah,
well, you know,
but it was
those are tax
crazy.
deductible.
Yeah, right. But
So
yeah,
Glenn,
it was crazy how all that happened out of being out that long and how it played out. But it was definitely a cool experience and it was fun.
that is incredible. And how many times, I've got to ask, how many times did you see Bill smile when you were with the Patriots?
I saw him smile probably more than a handful, which is surprising, right?
That's
Because
rare, yeah.
he does not smile on TV, but understandable. He doesn't really like the media, and the media tries to turn things around, blah 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 blah. And I've been around a lot of coaches that are anti-media guys, and they know they're trying to paint a different picture than what really is internally. And he would mention that, and unless it's coming from me, don't believe what's going on in the media, because it's never 100% fact. It's rumors, and then you start so he's very serious and straightforward with the media, but I seen him smile, seen him chuckle, seen him laugh,
he's human after all.
which was very wholesome. I was very like, good for you, man. Nice. Like you're happy inside. That's good.
Amazing.
So then after that, a few people still drafted you to fantasy teams, by the way, in the NBL fantasy thing. Robbie was playing, by the way, in the national.
Yeah, I saw
fantasy.
That.
Yeah, you did quite well, actually, I think.
I know. Halfway through the season, like I kind of would forget, and I just be automatically. And then I'd have guys that were hurt, like Calvin Ridley, and I was like, golly, why didn't I trade him? Because I was in a couple other leagues, so it's like, boom, 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 right? Trying to get it all the leagues, and then when you start not doing good, you're just kind of like, whatever, just we'll see. But yeah, I had some of the guys were like, dude, you're on here. Like, should we draft you? And I'm like, I don't know, dude. Well, I mean, I'm not on a team right now. I may be. I don't know.
Yeah. What uniform am I wearing in the photo?
Yeah. Right.
Like, what I mean? It's like you're just like a gray shape.
Yeah. But yeah, going into the fall, I was like, well, I could get picked up again. We'll see if training camp, I could be brought back. And nothing really happened. That's when I had my camp, with the academy, with RA Kicking Academy.
Let's talk about that quickly, right? So because stop right there, because that's a big shift. So I remember you and I had a conversation, just chilling, just chatting, where you told me about the academy, right? RACA, Roberto Aguayo Kicking Academy, based down in Tallahassee.
So I was doing my first camp in Tallahassee. Yes.
Right. Awesome.
Before the season opened.
FSU Seminoles was where Robbie forged his legend in the kicking community. And you said to me that the idea of the camp, which I thought was amazing, is that obviously you focus on the mechanics of kicking, you focus on becoming a better kicker and being able to do the physical things as well as you need to. But something that a lot of camps overlook and teams overlook in prepping people to play in the NFL is the mental side of things, right?
100%, yeah.
So the pressure that you can be under, the stress that, positions like that can, take on you. And obviously
you're either winning a game or you're not winning a game sometimes. Yeah,
exactly. And obviously with, Robbie's history, he has been, from the highest high points with FSU down to the lowest low points with the Buccaneers. So you understand exactly that mental roller coaster that being a professional player at any position can take on you, especially when you've got the weight of a team or an organization on your shoulders, and it comes down to sort of one kick, one moment. So that, for me, is the thing that I think sets this academy apart. I mean, focusing on that side of things is so overlooked. People always just want to focus on physical traits, but sometimes you've really got, I think we've all found over the last couple of years with everything that's been going on with COVID that, mental health needs to be prioritized as well.
Yep. And yeah, you make a great point. We did talk about that. And what's happened in my career. Obviously, at the end of the day, you wish, you would succeed. Everything goes great. You make a lot of money, you make a lot of kicks, whatever. But I wouldn't change, anything that's happened in my, professional career. it's really led me to the person that I am today, being resilient. And it gives me that opportunity to help that next generation with the academy. There's a lot of demand. I really started it back in 2019. There's a lot of demand, hey, teach my kid. So to me, it's not only teaching the physical side of things, right? And in kicking, you got to be mentally, emotionally, and physically sound to be the complete kicker. Just like you got to be physically, mentally, and emotionally sound as a person to play in this game of life we all play in, right? Because there's going to be down days, there's going to be great days. And I feel like coming in at FSU, I just had high days. And I never really went through a tough time. I never really went through a game winning. Really, the closest one was when I missed the Georgia Tech game, and that all happened. But to me, it was like, it was 57. I gave it a go. It got blocked. Oh well. I made all my other kicks, and it was great. It was one game, but really, I never went through adversity. And boom, get to the NFL, get drafted second round. Blessing and a curse at the same time, because I was thought to be basically a machine, a robot, making everything boom, boom, boom. And Tampa, some fans weren't happy that I was taken at second. They wish they would have brought in a wide receiver or someone else, and understandable, right? But to me, it was like, well, I didn't make that decision. I didn't say pick me at second round, right? But at 21 years old and going through a swing change, and, I'm going to write a book one day kind of explaining everything in detail and what went on internally and whatnot. So that'll be good to really go in detail and explain, day by day, week by week. But, I was going through a swing change and just wasn't ready really mentally and emotionally. Yeah, I could kick 60 yards. Yeah, I could do that all day, right? But if you're not mentally and emotionally, up to par, the mind is a muscle. Just as you work out your legs, your arms, your muscle needs to be, worked on. And I was not as resilient at 21 years old in the league, dealing with that adversity. And, I had to fight and manage and claw and go through that, coming out the Chargers, I should have won the job. I beat Caleb out. He's come back and said, he should have won the job. The coaches say he should have stayed here. He should have won the job. He was guaranteed more money, whatever. I'm not hurt about that, whatever. To me, I was happy because I came back and I built. I trusted, I became mentally strong, and I trusted the process. I trusted the new swing, and it worked under pressure situations. I went 7 for 7 in preseason, ended on a game winner. So I was happy internally with myself because I came back and I did the job, and I did it to the best. I could probably say that season I was kicking the best even at FSU, before FSU, or when I was at FSU. So
technically, yeah. So just for people that don't know, when we'll be talking about swing change, he's talking about the way in which you kick. So there's a soccer style way, which is the way you used to kick at FSU. And then there's
wedge kick, like being more wedgy, right?
Yeah, yep. There you go. And then there's sort of, through the laces kind of style.
Quad dominant. Yep. Quad dominant.
Yeah.
That's hard to explain. And that's kind of like when I was at the Bucks, it's like, dude, if I try to explain, we got to sit down for a good, 45 minutes, and I'm going to explain to you, I can make a PowerPoint. I can show you these things. I can't just tell you in 2 minutes, because you're going to be like, okay, whatever you say, dude. Like it's hard. Only kickers understand. Yeah. So, I was trying to be
they don't care either, because they're like, listen, bro, we took you at 2. I don't care whether you kick with your hands, as long as you kick through the thing. That's your issue. Do you know what I mean? Like, you remember, I remember you saying, like when you first got to the first practice, because special teams had been bad for them the year before, and one of your, your colleagues on the team said, well, we don't need to worry about that anymore because he's here. The savior's here. And like you're saying, 21 years old, highest drafted kicker since Seabass, or I think maybe Mike Nugent. But the pressure that's on you is insane. And then
straight out the gates as well. Yeah.
And then even if you were good at what you were doing, you're trying to change the style to make you better in the long term.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
You're trying to be better for everyone. For
Exactly.
the longevity, but they wanted the results then. They wanted them now. We can't miss kicks today,
Exactly. And obviously, I wasn't going out there trying to miss, right? I was trying to be better. I was trying to get better. I was trying to become more efficient, less injury, create, be better long term. And I look at it and think like, if I was on the PGA Tour, if I was a golfer, you can not win for, a year, 2 years, but you're still making cuts. You're still, placing top, 30, 40, you're still kind of making money, right? Until you win, and then you're good for another, 3 to 5 years. If, I needed probably maybe 6 more months, where I would be, confident, ready to go. But in that time, you don't have the year, right? I had not even 6 months to fix it. And I thought I could, get it done by then. And just with the second round pick, with the tight leash, with, you miss 1, you miss 2. Now it's like, like, what do I do? Do I trust it? Do I not? And just,
the media weighing in as well, making it that much harder. Everywhere you look, there's people questioning your skills. And
I'm not trying to be like, I was the only one, right? It happens in all sports, right? You lose, whatever, you go out. So it makes me, relate to those guys. It's good to see Jordan Spieth succeeding and coming back, with everything that happened at the Masters. I can relate because, I've been in that situation where I missed, and I'm just like, I don't know how I'm going to make the next kick. What do I do? You're in a helpless situation. So all of that, now I want to teach the younger generation, the next, guys coming through, because no one really teaches that, right? There's camps out there that's all, make this 60-yarder, make this 50-yarder. Boom, he has a big leg. Good. That's good and all. But what's going to happen when, you miss 1, you miss 2, or you're not having a good day off the field and you got to come in and you got to, all of that. Because in the end, if you get and that's great. That's what's great about sports, because you work on that. You get taught that, mentally, emotionally, physical on the field. I'm like, this isn't just going to be for you on the field. This is going to help you in life, because let's be realistic. Only 32 guys in the world are professional kickers.
Yeah.
The statistics to make it there, right? Even if you go to college and play D1 or a D2, like that's even great coming out of high school, right? Eventually this is going to end and you're going to have those 32 guys, buddy, like, congratulations.
But it's fine. No, you're exactly what you're saying is like, so, there's over 100 D1 colleges. Do you know what I mean? Which means there's over 100 D1 kickers, all who want to go into the NFL. Like you said, 32 teams available. And a lot of them have established kickers. And kicking is like the one position in the NFL where you can play for a long time. Look at Vinatieri. Do you know what I mean? So like, these aren't jobs that are becoming available every year. Maybe there'll be 2 or 3 rookie kickers that will make it into the NFL every year.
But they are one of a kind though. I mean, look at McPherson for the Bengals. I mean, he's done great, but we probably won't see another version of him again for another couple of years at least. So yeah, I mean, that side of things is so fascinating, and this is going to be such a basic thing that I'm going to say. As somebody like this, I've only been a fan of the NFL for like 4 years or so now, so I'm still relatively new, I'd say, in like the NFL world. But the one thing that
3 more years, you'd be friends for life.
Oh, love that! Can't wait. But the one thing that like fascinated me straight away about kickers is how high you guys can kick your legs. Like, that blows my tiny mind.
What, your hamstrings? Yeah, I can't get my.
No, I can like barely get my leg up on the sofa sometimes, just like aging.
Right, we don't need to know your
Hey, we've been doing it. I mean, the guys have been doing it since they were, 10, 12, 14 years old. So,
yeah, well, there's always a job for you in some sort of a French can school, then, I guess, if you can't become a kicker in the NFL. So let's go moving. So Raka's going good. Follow, what's the Instagram? Is it RAKA?
RA Kicking Academy.
RA Kicking Academy. Yeah, and check them out. Let's talk.
We had a guy from England come out.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That is amazing, can I just say?
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
I know. What was his? So he was the kicker for the Solent Thrashers, and Robbie basically took him under his wing for, was it just a week or so, wasn't it?
Yeah,
he was out on holiday.
He was here for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and we had 2 sessions, really good in-depth sessions, and he made a huge improvement. So I'm excited for
that. Do I remember like just hearing conversation last week and stuff? So he came without kind of any prior coaching. Is that correct?
No prior coaching. He kind of just played soccer and just kind of kicked the ball how he thought would be best. And that's kind of where, all right, you got to know the right way to do it, because if you don't know, it's going to be tough. Your job is going to be that much harder.
We've all seen the cheerleaders try and take field goals. We can see how badly people can kick.
Yeah, no, definitely.
No offense to cheerleaders, but they just don't have the skill set. So weirdly, even though it's 2022, you also got a call more recently as well, right? For another tryout.
So
who is this? Every 2 years, they're like, let's kick the tires on Robbie again.
Yeah. So I was released June 17th, I think. And nothing had happened. It's December now, last year, 2021. I get a call from my agent. Hey, I just got done talking with the Browns. They might bring you in. They're considering bringing you in. And I was like, cool, like, nice. I had been training. I'd been, teaching kids. I'd been working out. He calls me late, like 4 hours later. Hey, they're bringing you in. And it wasn't the was it? No, Cleveland. No, it wasn't the 5 days anymore. It's just go in, stay the night, next day you work out. Go in, and it's me, Chris Blewett, and Chandler Catanzaro. Great guys.
So yeah, great guys. I mean, as a Washington C-word fan, Chris Blewett he blew it, bro. Like every single kick he kicked for us, it was blocked or went wide. And I know you're gonna make excuses for him, but you can't be named Blewett and be blowing kicks.
What a name for a kicker.
I remember that.
Yeah. If your name was Roberto, I miss all the time.
Yeah.
Like, don't be a kicker.
Yeah. Yeah, right. So no one remembers your makes. They always remember the misses, right? But it was cool. I had played against him in college. My first game in college at Pitt. And then Chandler Catanzaro was there, and I had never, I think, formally met him. I never played against him. But I always, he was older than me. He played at Clemson, great kicker, good dude. And I was like, Chandler Catanzaro, I haven't heard your name in a long time. So yeah, man, it's kind of my last year. If it doesn't work out, I have, I'm like, dude, you're good, man. Like, you got family, you're good. You kicked a lot. And it was all 3 of us. And it's
so nice. It's like a kicking brotherhood. Because
you
all
like,
understand.
we all get each other.
Stresses, yeah, exactly. of how what it is to be a kicker, yeah.
So went out there in the cold. It was like 40 degrees. Did my process, did everything right. When it's on the field, it's natural. Everything clicks. And I went 12 for 12, made all my kicks. So I'm like, okay, I did my job. I wasn't really watching them. I saw some of their kicks, and then Chris comes up to me and he's like, how'd you do? And I was like, I made all of them. And he's like, dang, I went 9 for 12. So when he said that, I was like, okay, well, I made more than him. And Chandler, I don't know what he went, but he didn't make all of them. I think he went 9 for 12, 8 for 12 too. Wasn't really paying attention, but I had a great, the last time I went perfect was when I got signed with the Panthers. I went 10 for 10. So I'm like, okay, this is in the bag. Like, I'm good. Like, even if they don't sign me today, they'll sign me, in January. I go get my physical, I'm pumped. I'm like, let's go Browns, back in it. Swing feels good. Body feels good. I've been working out. I've been training, and they're like, I did my physical and they're like, okay, we're going to send them on the plane. We'll make a decision after the year, whatever. So I was like, they're probably going to decide after the year. As I'm about to take off, I see on on social media, they signed Chris Blewett. And I'm just on the plane, like, just sitting, like, I look at the people next to me, kind of like, I kind of want to say, like, that's crazy, man. Like, how did that happen? I want to talk about it. That's crazy. But they were just, you know, they were in their own world, and I'm just like, I'm about to take off.
But I didn't know that. So
yeah, I didn't know them. But like, I was like, I got to call somebody. I call my agent, and I'm like, dude, like, what's going on? And he's like, I don't know. They haven't called me. This is crazy, whatever. The whole plane ride, I'm just like, just staring, just like, what's going on, dude? What more can I do to make it, right? You know, I had one of the best days, one of the best workouts, you know, that any kicker could have, right? But at the end of the day, you know, God has a plan. You know, it is what it is. I look at everything as have you guys had, I'm going to go real philosophical here. Have you guys heard the story of the Chinese farmer?
No, I'm all ears.
Okay. Sounds like the start of a racist joke, but yeah.
No. The story of the Chinese farmer is there's a Chinese farmer, and
does he have to be Chinese?
He had well, it comes from Chinese origin, whatever.
Okay.
His horses run off. His horse runs off, and people come up to him and they're like, "Oh no, your horse ran off. That's so bad." And all he said to them was maybe. And a week later, that horse comes back with 7 other wild horses. And everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, that's great. Like, you have 7 horses now. That's awesome, right?" And he's like, "Maybe." And then the next day, his son is riding on the horse and, you know, trying to learn how to ride, falls off, breaks his arm. People come up to him, "Oh my gosh, that's so bad. Like, your son broke his arm, whatever. That's so bad." And he's like, "Maybe." A week later, their army comes and they need to, you know, draft people for war. We need to bring your son. And they're like, "He broke his arm." And they're like, "Okay, he can't go to war because he's, you know, medically disabled." And everyone comes and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like, that's good. He didn't go to war." Like, you know, and he's like, "Maybe." And at the end, the story's like, you never know what a situation or a moment in your life will be and how that will affect you later. You'll just know later. So in every situation, you always say, maybe. Was this good or bad? There is no good or bad. You don't know, right? So you're just like, maybe, and you got to go and roll with the punches. And that's kind of what football and my life has taught me, to move forward and not dwell on, well, you know, they didn't pick me. Because I could sit here and be like, "Oh, they didn't pick me, man. Well, it's like, you know, I know, you know, everything happens for a reason. And one day I'll look back and be like, maybe, you know, maybe it might be bad, maybe it might be good. You know, one day I'll know." But yeah, that was very deep for a life.
No, I love that. I'm inspired to say maybe.
That I think it's a lovely message to end the main portion of the interview. And I think the Browns weren't ready for that level of success. Personally, I think they were unaccustomed to someone succeeding on that level, and they were like, "No, to be a Browns player, you can only be good 75% of the time." So they brought it on.
I had a lot of buddies say that, like, "Oh, the Browns would do that. The Browns wouldn't sign you, whatever." But hey, man, it's like that. You know, at the Chargers, I was better, but they ended up going with the more experienced guy. Whatever, you know, stuff like that happens, and it'll happen to anyone in life, right? You're sometimes the better candidate, but they pick another person, whether it be, you know, they know each other, you know, politics, whatever, and you just got to roll with the punches. You got to keep going, right? You can't be like, "Oh man, like I'm not, you know, I can't do it." Right? Go, you know, whatever it may be. So. And that's what I teach my kids, you know, give them that inspiration, give them that, you know, and that knowledge of kind of what I went through, give it to you while you're 15. So, you know, that, right. If I would have had that, a teacher, a mentor, a coach to kind of guide me along that, that would have helped me a lot. So,
yeah.
In Star Trek, there's a very famous phrase by Captain Jean-Luc Picard, AKA the legend that is Sir Patrick Stewart, and he says, "It's possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That's not a weakness, that's life."
Yep, that's life. And we're all playing in this game. of life.
And speaking of playing games, perfect segue, Robbie.
Oh, love this.
Let's go.
You've been missing the games. Yeah, that's good. It's almost like we've worked together for years. 3 to be precise. So normally when we played a game with Robbie before, it ended up being a great segment on the show called Aguayo, Why Did He Miss? Which is fantastic, where you would analyze
great segment.
Kicks. It should be taken on full time.
Yeah.
Hannah Wilkes did say that she's going to steal McVeigh quotes for Sky Sports.
Yeah.
But basically, we're getting all of our stuff robbed and getting no credit around the world, and that's fine. That's the way we roll.
We'll just timestamp everything.
Yeah, exactly. So, but this is a different one, Robbie. So now we're like, okay, so it's my goal that you obviously end up coming over here at some point. We finally meet for real. You come down to MVL, and so we're like, okay, let's prepare for when Robbie comes to the UK. Okay. Now it's all the time. You know, whenever Americans come over, they do the whole like, oh, what? Try this English food. You know, what's this Cockney slang? It's a bit bait. It's a bit low hanging fruit. We're not going to do that. So we've got a game called How Snobby Is Robbie?
Oh, let's go.
Right. So
how long did it take you to make that up?
Yeah, it was inspirational. That's
good. All right.
So the theory behind this game is you're going to be presented with 2 options that may, you know, present themselves to you in English society. It's generally seen that one option is snobbier than the other option.
Okay.
And so it's going to be up to you to see what of the 2 options you would choose, and then we can base the results on how snobby you are as a person. Snobby, Robbie, we'll see.
Robbie, okay, let's do it.
So let's go. How snobby is Robbie? Robbie, you're getting served tea. Okay. Do you take English breakfast or Earl Grey?
Earl Grey.
Oh, okay.
See, okay, so I'm going to ask Ash now. Which do you think is the snobbier tea, Earl Grey or English breakfast?
I mean, I do believe it's Earl Grey.
It is.
Yeah.
English breakfast is like the everyman's tea.
What we call a builder's brew.
Builder's brew.
Yeah.
You know.
Builder's brew.
A builder's brew. Yeah.
Earl Grey is generally seen as more.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah, it's got bergamot in it, and I don't think anything that has bergamot in it is ever considered low class.
No.
Right.
I mean, I'd honestly, I'd have to Google what that is. Yeah. To be honest.
So. Okay, so that means that's a pretty snobby tea choice, Robbie.
Okay. Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing, you know, because you're going to be rolling with us, so high society.
Yeah.
So the tea is getting brought to you. Here's the key question. The milk, does it go into the cup before the tea or after the tea?
Before.
Interesting again.
Yeah.
And
we've got a high level society Robbie on our.
Well, no, because here's the funny thing. A lot of people think that milk in first. You said milk in first, right?
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of people think that milk in first is the less snobby one to do.
No, but it's the right way to do it with loose leaf tea.
So I did a lot of research on this.
Okay.
And I found an interview with the Queen's butler.
Oh.
Okay. So.
Yeah,
I mean, the highest of society.
Yeah, the highest.
Exactly. I knew I'd get questions, so I was like, okay, I'm going to find out because, right. So in theory, the Queen puts water in first, tea in first, then milk, and I think a lot of people make their tea like that.
Yeah.
The reason why is because in high society they used to be able to afford much finer china, right, that wouldn't break under hot pressure. Hot stress. So the high society people could put the boiling water straight into the cup from the teapot without any risk of the cup breaking. But the cheaper made ceramic mugs that generally people that couldn't afford bone china would break if you did that. So they put the milk in first to lower the temperature of the cup.
You learn something new every day.
Thank you.
Oh.
Okay, so Robbie, we're still there.
Something new.
Yeah.
We're still around the tea table. We're having afternoon tea. Someone presents you with a scone or a scone, depending on where you are in the world, depending on how you say that. Do you put the jam on and then the cream, or the cream on and then the jam? And again, we will refer to the Queen's butler to how the Queen has her one to show which is the higher, more snobby choice.
I'm
Have you
trying.
have you ever had an afternoon tea? Because
Yeah,
if you haven't,
yeah,
you have. Okay.
Okay.
I have.
Where though? If it was in Florida, that doesn't count.
No, it was in New York.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. All right.
It was all right. I would feel like you put the cream. No. Yeah, the jam after.
That's what I do.
That's what I do as well.
And that's what you do.
Yeah.
It's not what the Queen does.
Oh, she put the jam on first.
In Buckingham Palace,
What
the
a heathen.
jam goes on first, and then the cream, according to the Queen's butler.
Okay.
All right.
2
so
to
now
1.
we're gonna 2 to 1. So now we're
Okay.
moving away from the afternoon tea setup onto the breakfast table,
Okay.
where you are drinking milk out of a jug while you wait for your Earl Grey. But you're having an English breakfast. The baked beans, do they come on the plate, or do they come in a ramekin on the side?
A ramekin on the side.
So snobby.
That's very proper of
that's
you,
very
Robin.
That's, I mean, normally,
Think about it. They're on a plate. They're just spread out. They're just,
Exactly.
That's
yes.
the way it should be. I want to swimming on my plate.
Yeah, exactly. You want
not for breakfast. Not for
islands,
breakfast. Maybe for
islands
dinner.
of other foods floating in a huge bowl of baked beans. Is basically what a lot of greasy
Yeah.
spoons do. That is the more snobby one. So where you're a 2 and 2 now. So now
You're very even. You can roll either side.
No,
the
wait,
final-
wait. The snobby is the cup,
yeah,
right?
having-
Or not?
yeah.
So it's 3 to 1.
Wait a minute. You said Earl Grey. You
Yeah.
said milk in before.
But then he said jam on first, but it's cream on first.
No, he said cream on first. There's jam on first. So it's
Yeah.
2
Oh wait.
on
So you're
snobby.
counting. Oh, so you're counting the milk in first, not snobby.
Exactly.
Okay. 2 to 2.
Okay.
2 to 2.
2-2. Comes down to the last question. You're eating soup.
Okay.
Good soup.
Do you scoop towards your mouth?
Scoop away. Scoop away.
Oh, you could have done it! Oh yes, Robbie.
Scoop away,
is
so you don't spill anything on your shirt or.
That is
you know.
absolutely correct.
Oh, wow.
Well done.
Ding, 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 ding.
So yeah, you're snobby Robbie. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but when you come to the UK, we'll definitely, I promise, we'll do all those things. We'll have afternoon tea, we'll make jokes,
And then we'll go have
That's
soup.
so
and then
funny.
we'll go and eat beans. Yeah, we'll start the day with a full English breakfast, then go to afternoon tea and have a bowl of soup for the evening because we'll be full.
Yeah. I worked at a summer camp in America a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And it was like 2 hours north of Atlanta in Georgia in a place called Mountain City. And the kids were just blown away by the concept of a baked bean. And I was just like,
I'm talking about their baked beans in America, but they just have
I didn't know
barbecue.
yeah,
They
but why
don't-
just
you don't
on a
have them at
barbecue?
breakfast. No, you don't. No, you don't cook the bean on a barbecue.
No, I know.
All right.
I mean, what a
that
mess.
would be ridiculous. Yeah, they'd all fall through the fucking grill. Yeah, I don't know what the theory is, but Robbie, what's your deal with baked beans in America? It's like a
Yeah.
side for barbecue, right?
It's a side for barbecue. Yep. They usually eat it with barbecue. You know, red meat. That's when I have the baked beans over here with barbecue sauce and stuff like that.
See, for me, that's weird.
No, exactly. Like a great breakfast, again, when you come to the UK,
Mhm.
or if you're feeling poorly as well, I do love this one, just baked beans on toast.
Yeah.
So simple.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, game changer as well. A little sprinkling of cheese.
Bit of
Oh,
Worcester
Ooh.
sauce, or as you guys would call it, Worcestershire sauce.
Okay.
And
I need to
yeah,
go over there. I need a.
You do.
Expand
And there's
my-
no
Culinary
excuses,
tour.
man.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
excuses. We're free to travel. You're available to come. But yeah, I think we'll call it a day on that interview because it was so nice.
We need to do more segments and stuff.
No, we definitely do.
That was good.
We'll do a
just-
Snobby Robbie 2.0 the next time.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get you back on to just have chats because it's always fun.
Definitely.
But yeah, hey, big love, bro, and good luck
This
with
was
everything. Good luck with Raqqa, and yeah, just I'm sure we'll speak soon.
Good luck with the show. This is fun.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, bro. Take care. I'll speak to you soon.
It just seems to be the natural instinct of hogs that when they see a Dallas Cowboys jersey, they want to tear it apart.
I don't want to sit here all offseason again hearing about Dallas.